Hi, everyone. Oh, that was a sneak preview. Hi, everyone. How is everyone? Good evening from Manila, and good morning, good afternoon from in your part of the world. Let me know where you're watching from. As promised, I am going live tonight. It's a Friday night here in Manila. Um, I hope you had a wonderful week. Um, I last saw you on Monday, and now I'm back. How has your week been? Okay, a little greetings. Hello, my first commenter, Benji Girl de la Cruz. Hi. Oh, this is Sonia from Australia. Hi, Sonia. And we have GQ. Hi, GQ. Watching from YouTube. So we are live in Facebook at daphne.ph and also on YouTube in daphne.ph, or if you like look for it, it's actually called Daphne website. I don't know. I was particularly not very creative that day and I called it Daphne website. Is my audio good? Yeah, so we've had quite a week this week. It is the first week back for school for students. They went back to school. Some are hybrid, some are face to face. So, how are the parents doing? It's like we're learning new things, no? It's like it's been what over 2 years since we started sending our kids back to school here in Manila. Mine are still with me. They start next week, and I have my eldest here who goes to university in Canada, and she's still with me for a few more days. So I am relishing every moment with her. We are unfortunately counting down, but in my mind, it's still summer. We had the longest summer, very, very beautiful. Okay, we've got somebody here from Vancouver. Hi, Jane. We have Kiko Ignacio. And oh, Misamis Oriental, Jackie, good evening. So, sana okay kayo ngayon at resting na, winding down the week at home. Um, like I said, it's been a crazy week, both for me and I'm sure for many other parents and students who are going back to school. So, tonight I wanted to talk about um, uh, creating joy. Okay, we always hear about joy. We'll talk to my very good friend. uh, she is a I've known her in many phases of her life, and we share some similar stages of motherhood. um, and I've known her when she was working in corporate, and then she started a new life, and I knew from the start that she was a true artist. So she is an artist at heart and in practice, and I'm very happy to see her doing her art now. But she's also a very well respected mental health advocate. Some of you may actually know her because she does some talks for many corporations now. So let us welcome her before I keep talking here. Her name is Zarah Hernaez. Hi, Zara. Hi, Z.
Hi, Daph. Great to see you.
Yeah,
Finally, we get to do this.
I know. We've been wanting to do this. You know what's so funny? Like during the pandemic, when everybody was going live and doing Instagram live, Facebook live, and you were doing your talks, I just watched everyone. And I was like, I couldn't find my groove to go live. And then just like last month, when everyone's done with doing their lives, I'm doing this. And now we're here.
And I think we do need these things constantly. Things like
Yeah.
these, talks like
Yeah.
these. Yeah.
Right. And I think during the pandemic, it kept people connected. But now I don't know what phase of my life I'm in, but I'm really enjoying these lives and connecting with you and sharing you with my viewers because you are such an amazing person. I was right? Like you were in corporate and then you
Oh,
started.
yeah.
So can you give us a brief background of your journey as an artist? Like how did you you were always into painting and sketching, and then how did you continue it as a hobby and then now you do it?
Okay, I've always been an artist. So I've studied fine arts for college. So I was really a thought artist from the very beginning. But you know how society wants us to be a certain way. So I stayed in corporate for around 26 years. But then when you do that, your creativity never dwindles. And I always tell people who are in corporate who have artistic inclinations that that's your superpower. You see things very differently compared to everyone else. So use it. You can apply it
Mhm.
in strategies, you can apply it in, I was in HR, I was in communications for the longest time, and it really helped me. But more than anything, art saved me emotionally, mentally, financially, even when basically I had to pick it up again when I got separated. And that was in 2008. And I don't know if you remember that, but I was doing um, portraits
Mhm.
for
For
families and
children. Yeah.
children. Yeah, that's right. So art for me at the time was something that allowed me to have extra money because I was going through so much. Yeah, going
Mhm.
through your annulment. But more than anything, it was an opportunity for me to be this constructive and productive
Mhm.
versus destructive when you're at your lowest. So that really saved me a lot because it gave me a space, it placed me in a meditative state, and it gave me so much clarity and towards like what am I supposed to do in the future? How am I supposed to deal with these concerns that I have?
But
And
let's
well,
just go back a little bit. You always found it relaxing to sketch and draw and paint.
oh yeah,
It was your
um,
habit.
it was my habit because for somebody who is extremely hyperactive like me, which by the way, I wonder if Daphne knows what she's getting into because I'm so hyper. For someone who's extremely hyperactive, it allowed me to focus even when I was in class. So if
Mm.
you have the habit of doodling during meetings or during classes, it allowed my brain to
Oh my
basically just
gosh.
focus while listening.
Sarah, you are like Patrick and my two daughters, Lily and Sophia are like that.
And I'm so lucky that you know, even in corporate, I had bosses who basically didn't mind
Hmm.
that I'll be doodling during meetings, but I pick up more and I
Yeah.
understand more if
Oh
I'm
my God.
actually
I
doing
used to
something.
fight Patrick. Like, ano ba, you're always like you doodling on like the when you're in a restaurant and it's a paper like napkins or they're always doodling and then sometimes I'm telling stories and he's like I go, are you listening to me? And he's
Yeah,
like, yeah, I
exactly.
absorb more.
Yeah, I absorb more. There's less noise in my
Oh my
head.
goodness.
I don't
So
get
you were doing
distracted.
that.
I was doing that.
Oh, so
Exactly.
when you were going through a rough time personally, you found that to be your like inner joy, like your peaceful state?
Yeah, it gave me a lot of clarity. It made me more productive versus destructive, especially if you go through something difficult like a separation with your partner. People do have the tendency to go external, but it
Hmm.
gave me an opportunity to really internalize things. And at the same time, it allowed me to basically just create my little space where I'd
Hmm.
be joyful. When things are difficult and chaotic outside, you have to create your little space of joy.
Okay,
And for me, that's really art. That's really painting. That's really drawing. And
that's
during the
nice.
pandemic, it was the same.
So I see that sometimes you share it in your social media. These are pages from your sketchbook, and you never run out of topics because sometimes you start. This is watercolor, right? A
Yeah,
watercolor
yeah,
sketch in your
yeah,
sketchbook, and this is like the moment that you were having steak with your
yeah,
husband.
yeah.
So
While
anytime it
listening.
strikes, you're like you carry your sketchbook and you just whip out your paint set.
That's right. And that came about because of the pandemic as well. Because I used to do acrylics and oils and on canvas. And but when the pandemic hit, everyone was home.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have all of these things out there because I live in a small space, a condominium unit, and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have all of my art materials out. And watercolor, basically, you just need your paper, you need your pen or your pencil, and you have your paints, and that's it. So I needed that. And I picked it up as something that I do now constantly. It
Mm-hmm.
keeps my mind busy and it allows me to, instead of taking Instagram pictures, I now sketch the day.
And how long does that take you?
Sketching would take around 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Painting it would depend on how obsessive I can get. But basically, something like that would take around, I guess, around 15-20 minutes.
That's so much fun. I look at
Yeah.
it and I'm like, oh, because I also studied art. I was also trained in art, but I don't think I'm a doodler. For me, it would be a chore to fill up a sketchbook. I do like a lot of creativity here, and then I do big projects like a painting or whatever, but I don't habitually paint and sketch. Whereas my daughters, they always have a sketchbook. When we're traveling, they get so upset when there's no sit down time. So we do it while I'm having my coffee. O sige, mag-sketch kayo dyan. And then talagang they need time to sketch. I love that there's that zone, like it's like your own. Yeah, it's just like it brings them so much joy, and I suppose I see that also in your work. How does that do you I so you pursued your art as a hobby and now as a business, but also how do you how does that help with your work as a mental health advocate?
All right. So I work a lot with, I focus mainly on the workplace, which is something that I'm pretty used to because I used to handle human resources for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I do notice, especially the past 3-4 years, I handle a lot of children.
Mm-hmm.
I handle a lot of kids. I'll handle a lot of teens and young adults. And most of the time, we do try to communicate through art therapy because um, just like me when I was younger, a lot of them do have artistic inclinations and
Mm.
misunderstood because of their artistic inclination. So art for them is easier and it's easier for me to communicate with them. I've had teens who have I've had to do coaching for somebody who had social anxiety and refused to talk to me on screen.
Mm.
So we just communicated through sketches.
Mm. That's
Amazing.
great.
So, yeah, so we communicated through sketches until finally she was able to communicate with me face to face. So she
So,
just
but
started with,
it's her communication doesn't really mean that she's like an artist. She just sketched.
she's
She used
more,
it as a.
yeah, yeah. We started
Wow.
with emojis, we started with
Oh,
happy faces, and then
okay.
eventually she started really just opening up. And
Mm-hmm.
but we started with sketches. And for people who have high anxiety or especially children with high anxiety, it's really the best grounding exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Wow.
because it involves a lot of your senses. So the moment they are going through a level of anxiety, they do start doodling, which calms them down anyway. So it
Mm-hmm.
has been quite effective for the children that I work with or the children that I coach. For those who are very very inclined to succeeding and excelling in the things that they do,
Ah.
it also helps them a lot because in art, it's always very unpredictable. No matter how technically good you are, it will
Mm-hmm.
always be unpredictable. So it helps them focus on the process. And I say this a lot, please focus on the process and not on the product or the
Mm-hmm.
output that you have, especially when you're
Wow.
doing art. And it applies, I guess it applies in life. We
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that we focus on the process or our journey versus um, the product or the output.
Mm-hmm.
of where we are supposed to be.
Wow. This painting that you made here, did you sketch it first and plan it out first, or you just let the paint take you where, you know, did you already know what you were gonna do?
No, I'm actually very intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
I usually just have a theme,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a series. It's a series called Outside My Window. Why
Mm.
outside my window? Because generally, when we were at the pandemic, that's all I could see.
But you had a beautiful view
Yeah, I had a beautiful view, thank God,
of Pasig
but that's all
River
I,
and
yeah, of Pasig River, and that's all I could see. All I could
oh
see was just outside my window. So I decided to just do a series, and I usually just have a theme, and I go and um, to the canvas and just do it.
wow. I just wanna okay. I just wanna I just remembered I wanted to show people. This is an example of your work. See? This is me. You just sent it to me as a gift. People, can you see that? Yeah. Okay. Based on a photo, Zara sketch painted me. And then, not just me. There you go. My husband, Patrick, also from a photo. And it's interesting cuz yeah, so he's drinking coffee here
His
and
favorite. Yeah.
yeah, it's our coffee is our thing. We
I
have
know.
to
I was like, I can't sketch Patrick without coffee. That's impossible.
yeah. So there. So these are like lovely. Like so you said you like drawing people.
I love drawing people, and an artist, a fellow artist of said mentioned that that's probably because I work with people.
Mhm.
I do handle a lot of coaching and one-on-one counseling with people, so I am very inclined to working and write and drawing and painting people. So I guess that's it. It's actually very interesting to paint people because they don't see themselves the way other people see them.
Yeah. Oh,
So
we
it
got
can be very surprising.
reaction from Kelly Chugan. Nice painting, Miss Zara. That's nice, Daph. It really is. Let me bring it up again. It is so lovely. And I still remember this moment. I was at Pinto Gallery. It was during the pandemic, and I had to shoot my show. So I was a little nervous, but it was like outdoors, and it was still the early days of like vaccination, and people were not yet working, but we were working already. It was like May or June last year,
Yeah.
and I remember it. And you even painted my necklace, So it's so me. And I love that. It's not a photographic depiction of me. It's how you see me.
Yeah.
I love it. It's really nice. Thank you, Zara. And this is not the first one you've made of me. You've painted my daughters as well. I love your work. So,
I started painting kids' portraits because of Lily.
yeah, I'll get it. It's in my it's in the other room. I'll post it in my Instagram stories. But yeah, really, because of Lily.
Because of Lily.
Why?
You don't know that. So
No.
I painted Lily because I thought she was just a cute little chubby
Oh,
munchkin of
with
cherub.
with a little
The
dimple on.
dimples when she was like 2, I guess. So
Yeah,
I was like, painting her and you posted it somewhere, I think Flickr.
yeah, Flickr days.
You posted it on Flickr and someone started calling me from abroad.
Oh
You didn't know that? From
no,
Hong Kong.
why?
She ordered an acrylic painting of her and I started crying.
Hmm.
So I started crying. So there's this woman who called and said, "Oh, I've been looking for an artist who can do my child in this the exact same style that I wanted. I didn't want a formal portrait. I want something that's similar to her, but it could be." And I started crying because it's so difficult to find people who would want to be painted that way because most of the time they want the photorealistic ones, right?
Yeah.
And I want a photorealistic painting of myself, right? Or something that looks edited. Please take away my eye bags. Or and I do get people who ask for those things. Please give me a flattery. I'm like, oh, okay, but that's not you. So she called me and I started crying
Mm,
because for the first time I felt that somebody actually saw the artwork that the way I see things, the art that I do as something that made them happy or brought them joy even, right?
I didn't really realize that that was the moment, but wow. Oh, see, that's so special.
Yeah.
Hmm. So your art, so art is really in this sense like it really connects people, and you've shown that. It tells stories, and wow, I didn't realize that was part of your journey as an artist. I wanted
Oh,
to show this. A few months ago, I shared some of my harvest. Guys, take a look at this. This is me and my little farm garden. I call it farmette. And that time we had a huge harvest. So I sent, I shared some with some friends. And look at this. Look what Sarah did. She made a story out of it. Some people just crack open the fruit and eat it, but you painted me and made up a story pa. What did it say? You're small. You will be large. Okay, thank you.
yeah, because you were saying, oh, I'm still working on quality. I'm still
Control.
thinking and quality control of how the fruits, how big. I'm saying, how are you supposed to do quality control of fruits? Are you supposed to dictate what they're? And it just got stuck in my head. It's like I have to sketch this. Like
Yeah,
Daphne talking to the plants and telling the fruits that you're gonna be
grow.
large, you're gonna be small, and please do this for me.
Oo nga, kasi medyo maliliit sila, so it's like not commercial. But it's really not commercial naman talaga. It's really from our backyard farm. But it's really lovely. Like there you go, because it is an interesting looking fruit. And
It
I wish I
is.
could zoom in. But yeah, that's the magenta. Oh, there you go.
But
So,
to be honest, that's exactly how I do quality control for fruits. I'd be like talking to them, please be big. How about you? I'm
yeah.
gonna be small. Go ahead.
So, based on your talks, you give a lot of talks to different organizations and
Yeah,
companies.
yeah,
What are the when are the moments that you bring in creativity? Like, is this something that um people connect with, or when you give sessions, is it just like you just talk about stress and how to avoid stress?
yeah. For the mental health talks and the wellness talks that I do for different organizations, I don't really talk about the creativity, though I incorporate some of my
Hmm.
sketches on my slides. I usually incorporate creativity when I do the one-on-one counseling and the coaching. However, what comes in handy as an artist when you are speaking to people, including you, I guess, would be your intuition.
Hmm.
How because artists can be very sensitive to people, their feelings,
Hmm.
and as artists you have to really be in tune with how people feel and how they are taking and how you communicate the things that
Hmm.
you're supposed to convey. And it really helps. It helps me to really connect with people so that they understand the things that I'm saying, especially since most of the topics I talk about would be pretty serious, like mental health, about different mental health disorders, even how to get well, strategies on how to manage your anxiety, or even self love, or things like gratitude. So it's so much easier for me, I guess, to communicate to people since um, I'm a feeler. I can feel how other people
Mhm.
feel. You're high in terms of intuition.
Now, Z, do you do this as a group? Like, how can you focus on one person? Let's say people are in a group setting and you kind of open up something and they feel a connection with you and they want to, do they contact you?
Yeah, so when I do group sessions for organizations, I really do flash my um, social media pages. So that's called the Wellness PH. So it's on
What is it?
Facebook.
The Wellness PH?
Yeah, the Wellness
A
Nest.
nest.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Wellness PH. It's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, and they do get in touch with me after to schedule sessions
Mm-hmm.
and or even just to chat and talk and maybe ask for advice for certain
Mm-hmm.
issues that they have in life. And I really do answer because that's
Mm-hmm.
how they can get in touch with me.
So that's right, the Wellness PH.
Yeah,
Okay. Tell me about this sketch painting. Is that an elephant? A baby elephant?
that's it's an elephant.
Yeah.
When I said that let's focus on the process and not the product, this is a very clear example because basically I just got a bunch of watercolor and splashed it around and tried to find what I wonder what I can find in
By
this
accident.
lot. Yeah, by accident.
Uh,
So I found an elephant and its mom. So that's something that really pushes not just your creativity, but it pushes you to not be perfect,
mm-hmm.
which is something we all struggle with. You know, we all want to
Yeah.
try to be perfect, or it has to look like a perfect elephant. So,
Okay.
it pushes you.
What if somebody can't draw, paint, or whatever? What are the other creative outlets that you can recommend?
Okay, collaging is something that I can recommend.
Mm.
Everyone can cut paper, right? Everyone can cut paper, but I do believe that everyone can draw. It is not something that you are exactly born with. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that you work on. And
Oh.
if you practice on a daily basis, you will eventually learn how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you can draw a straight line, then you can do it. But basically, it's something that you really do put effort and discipline into doing. And and I guess um I still do encourage people who don't draw to do draw because it is again the process that we're looking at, the fact that you put something on paper.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going through something like anxiety or going through something like depression and your serotonin is low and you need a little bit more motivation as you wake up daily and like every day, the fact that you have an output that really pushes the neurobiochemicals in your brain. It pushes you to have more serotonin and more motivation because you see an output. You did something productive today. Yeah, and that's what I
Mm.
always say. I just need to do something productive today. I produced something. And that pushes you to be more productive
Mm-hmm.
versus, okay, I woke up today and I didn't do anything. And usually, if you're going through something that's difficult, like um, depression, then it makes you even sadder that you didn't do anything productive. So, whether good or bad, ang output, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. At least you had an output.
Is that why journaling daily is a thing?
Yeah, journaling daily is also a very good way to give your mind a place to seeing things in black and white allows you to really step back from how you
Mm-hmm.
feel. So journaling is something that I really do encourage. So you can incorporate sketches in your journaling. On
Mm-hmm.
bad days, I stop sketching. I just start writing because you really need to really just focus on your feelings. But journaling allows you to step back, see your feelings in black and white,
Mm-hmm.
minus you feeling these feelings,
Mm.
right? So it's just there, and then it allows you to have more clarity in terms of dealing with whatever concerns you have. So it's something that it's useful.
What if
So
it's
you should
like
do it.
it's painful? What if it's like you're going through a lot of pain and anger, and that's all your day is filled with that? How can you sit down and write or draw? What if it comes out there like so negative? Or is that a
And
release?
no, and that's okay because you're releasing it in a safe space. You're releasing
Mhm.
it in a controlled environment.
Mhm.
Diba? It's so much better if it's something. And I tell you, I have a lot of those things because I've been journaling since high school.
Mhm. Yeah.
When you're angsty and all. And I read these things and I'm like, I've grown. I think I've grown and you can see it and you say, hey, and now I see it, I read it, and I have my own child, and I'm like, you know what? She might learn from this.
Mhm.
So it has become very handy. So it is a safe space for you to express your feelings, angry feelings, sad feelings, whatever, because that journal's yours. It's not anyone else's, and it's a controlled environment. It's so much safer than you know releasing your anger out into the
Into
world
the
like that.
world. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just keep it there in the pages. Tell me
Yeah.
about this page in your sketchbook.
All right. So I was in Cebu to visit my
Mhm.
family finally after 2 years, and I was just so ecstatically happy. And if you're in Cebu, you really have to go out and go to the beach. And finally, I stepped into the ocean after many, many years, and I had so
Mhm.
much fun. So again, I would rather sketch it than keep on posting pictures.
Mhm. That's
The
nice.
act, yeah, the act of sketching something and the act of drawing something physically and not digitally actually allows it to be really embedded into your subconscious. That
Mhm.
feeling of happiness and joy that you had during that moment.
That's nice.
And,
I like that.
yeah.
I
Mm-mm.
just also saw this one. Hold on. I'm going to pull up another sketch. So amazing. I like following you in your stories, Instagram stories, because I always see what is she drawing now? Tell me about that. Is that a bird
Oh,
eating a pie?
a pie. Yeah, because I was out with my friends also in Cebu. And when you're with your friends, especially when you're with your high school friends, you have the tendency to forget everything. So because we were talking and we kept talking, the bird just decided to help itself to the pie that we were eating. We had no idea. But I thought that was really funny. And more than just the time with my friends, I think that really, really indicated how deep into conversation we all were. And
Oh,
by the way, the one there at the bottom,
yeah.
that's the new bridge in Cebu.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
longest bridge. I think it's part of the build
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw everyone was posting when it was new. I want to see it. It looks nice. But what is that?
It's,
Lighthouse? Is that an old lighthouse?
I think that's part of a mall there.
Ah, talaga.
Yeah. Yeah. Cebu
Nice.
has changed considerably. I was so shocked.
Really?
Mm.
Oh, nice. Let me see what else we can pull up here. Oh, you did a series. Wait, is this part of your art series? Stop screen. Sorry, I'm the slowest in this live. This one. What's that?
Yeah. So that's still part of the outside my window. I think that's
Yeah.
5 p.m. I
Okay.
think that's 5 p.m. The other one was 11 p.m. where everyone
Mhm.
was asleep. This
Wow.
one's in the middle of the afternoon. So you can see it based on the colors that I use, usually sunset colors, and the sketch that I do in terms of the ink sketches that I do at the bottom. So the
Mm.
previous one had a girl sleeping. However, this one has the buildings below me because again, it's outside my window, and all I could see during the pandemic was just that.
So
And I
earlier,
and
yeah,
a lot of people I think could relate because really, you were just at home.
yeah, I know. I
Mm.
especially felt for you because you were in a condo.
Mm.
Um, it was, oh, this is the same one, and I was making takas going to the farm.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
think this is 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Those
Wait.
are my birdie friends.
Oh, sorry.
Those are my bird friends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because so in your condo you have birds that come up and say hi.
Yeah,
Wait.
I have very aggressive bird friends outside
Mhm.
my window.
There. Wait. Did I already show this? No.
Yeah, I think that's the last one you showed.
Yeah. So that's the bird. Okay. So we Kanina, this is Keith. Keith from YouTube says, it's so inspiring. I want to try sketching again. Any tips for those of us who, would like to try sketching again?
Have no fear.
There's no right or wrong, right?
There's no right or wrong. It's your work. And at the same time, it's always very intimidating to see a blank piece of paper. And sometimes I still have to remind myself, no fear. This is it. I can do this. You're really rallying yourself up, especially if it's a blank piece of paper. And again, it applies in life. Sometimes you have to rally yourself and cheer yourself on, especially if it's something new. Just say,
Mm-hmm.
have no fear.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-mm.
I like that. Here, let me just show some more of Zara's art. Uh, this one, what's that? An angel?
Oh, it's the angel, it's the earth angels. I love angels.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of angel figurines here and I do a lot of angel artworks. But this was also something that I did born out of just throwing paint on a
Mm-hmm.
piece of paper. And I just found an angel. And I love angels and I love the color scheme. That's a very me color
Mm-hmm.
scheme. So I love golds and bright and the darkness, the warmth and the cool colors together.
Mm-hmm. It's nice. Now, when we were talking about doing this, you had mentioned that you also have some tips or tools on how to relieve stress, not just with creativity, but talking about how joy, the difference between joy and happiness.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I do get a lot of people because I do talks on raising your levels of your raising your vibrations,
Mm-mm.
raising your levels of happiness,
Yeah.
making sure that you love yourself. So I do a lot of those things. And most of the time people equate happiness and happiness basically is really anchored on things. Happiness is anchored on things, um, people, experiences, no?
Mm-hmm.
Things, people, experiences. And I forgot the fourth one because I'm having a senior moment. But basically, it's anchored on things, people, and experiences, if you know what I mean. However, joy is very internal. Joy is
Mm-hmm.
something that is just for you and it's something that you have to create. And that's exactly what art brings for me. It brings joy. But the nice thing about having um, joy or what we call true happiness is that even when you do not have the things and you do not have the people that supposedly make you happy and the experiences that supposedly make you happy, you are still joyful and happy. So you're pretty much um, sustaining that happiness. And that's exactly why during the pandemic, a lot of people went through a lot of levels of depression because things were taken away from them. Experiences like travel or buying or going out was taken
Wala
away from
lahat.
them. Yeah. And the people
Mm.
who they find happiness from, like their friends, their office mates, their colleagues they weren't able to see, or even family they weren't able to see. So it was very difficult for them to sustain their happiness, because true joy does not really need all of those things. No, true happiness does not need all of those things. You can sustain it. In fact, you can create it and find it in you. So you
Mm.
have to find that level of joy, or what makes you truly joyful. Pag tanggalin lahat,
Okay ka pa?
what makes me happy? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, when you ask children of around 4 years old, what makes you happy? They only, can you draw something that makes you happy? And they usually just draw their family members, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
dog, maybe Lola, and that's it, or their home, and that's it.
Really? That's
That's it.
nice.
If you ask children to draw, what makes you happy? And that's it. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
joy is, because that child does not need to be anywhere else, does
Mm-hmm.
not need to have anything else but these things that they drew.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I get that. But is it possible to manufacture happiness, especially in a fleeting moment? Can you create a, I mean, it's not bad to be happy, right?
Oh yeah, it's not bad to be happy at all. 'Di ba? Meron tayong tawag in Tagalog, panandaliang aliw. But we also have to remind ourselves that panandalian lang talaga ang aliw
Oo.
niyan.
Huwag masyado
Right?
ma-attach.
Oo, wag masyado ma-attach.
Oo.
But if needed, then it is there to push you to find your
Mm-mm.
joy. If it pushes you to find your joy, then go ahead. But if your joy stops there, your happiness stops there, then there might be a problem, because whatever it is, whatever panandali ang aliw that you
Mm-mm.
have, it will disappear, right?
This
So,
is getting interesting.
mm,
To our viewers here, if you find this talk interesting and helpful, please share it in your walls right now so we can have more interaction. And also, if you're new in my YouTube, please like and subscribe. And thank you to Nizzy Co for sending us some stars. But I wanted to ask you, what are the techniques of maintaining levels of happiness through relaxation? You had mentioned something like that.
oh, okay. Okay, again, we're talking about, let's look at the simple things in life and the simple joys that we have.
Mm-mm.
Because sometimes that's the only way we can maintain our happiness. We have to be able to see things in a very grateful manner. So when we talk about grateful manner or gratitude, hindi po siya, ay, thank you. No? Because
Mm-mm.
thank you is a feeling. Oh, thank you is a feeling. No? Gratitude is an action, and it
Mm,
pushes you to have more action, to give gratitude. It pushes you to to act, and that is gratitude basically. So maintaining that level of happiness that you have also entails a lot of gratitude. So when you
mhm,
have gratitude, then basically it allows you to be able to see things that you're supposed to be grateful about. No, it triggers the um, neurotransmitters in your brains to spot things that you're supposed to be grateful about. And when you are grateful, it allows you to also live a more simple life. So the levels of
mm.
happiness that you have is really anchored on the levels of gratitude that you have.
That's a good way of approaching gratitude and understanding why it's a good thing. I have a question here from Farah Love in YouTube. What if you came to a point in your life that you already have trouble identifying what makes you happy?
Oh, I love your question, Farah. You know what, Farah? That's not a very uncommon thing. In fact, I have worked with so many people who don't even know what makes them happy. Why?
Mm,
Because most of the things that make them happy are generally dictated by the people around them or by society. So, what truly makes them happy, they have no idea. So, how can you find what makes you happy? Again, you have to work on it. You really have to set time, sit down, and try to see, minus the expectations of others, minus including our family. Pinoy tayo. Including our family, our
mhm,
parents. etc. What do I really want? So I met a person who basically had no idea what made her happy, and she was 28 years old
Mm.
because everything that she did in her life was basically dictated by her family members or what society thinks is, supposed to be good for her. Think of what is good for me. So knowing yourself and knowing what is good for you is the first thing that you should do. And I think you were able to talk about it in some of the talks that you had earlier in the other sessions that other live
Mhm.
sessions that you have. The moment you know what makes you happy, protect it. Have your boundaries in place.
Mhm.
So if you have trouble identifying what makes you happy, you can start with what doesn't make me happy.
Ah.
Flip it. What doesn't make me happy? And then find the opposite of that. Because
Mhm.
it's an exercise that you can do. What doesn't make me happy? What makes me sad? If you know, if people who dictate things on me makes me sad, then okay, I guess independence makes me happy. I guess freedom makes me happy. So it flip what you feel. You start with what doesn't make you happy first. If hindi mo pa ma-identify kung ano ang nakaka-happy sa'yo.
Mhm. So what do you do when the moment that you are in an unhappy situation?
Aba, we all have a choice. We have a chance to step out of a bad situation. Why?
Mhm.
Because, at the moment you know what makes you happy, again, we want to make sure that we protect it. Protect your happiness.
Mhm.
And if you're in a bad situation, then it is threatening your happiness. So
Mhm.
if you have a choice and you can step out of a situation, in any situation that you are in, you have a choice and you can push it, push yourself out of your comfort zone. And this is the difficult thing about getting out of a bad situation. It pushes you out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Beyond that discomfort is your happiness. So always remember, beyond that discomfort is unhappiness. Oh, is
Mhm.
happiness.
Okay.
Because I have been in bad situations in my life or situations that I was not myself or miserable or unhappy. And, it's always a choice to get out of that
Mhm.
place, but you'll always go through a discomfort, and things are so much better after that.
But what if the discomfort and the unhappiness is, that it's just temporary? Like,
It
I'm stuck in
is.
traffic and I just have to live with this. Like, I don't have to make myself miserable while waiting in traffic. I can just like listen to music and enjoy my time being
Yeah,
stuck or whatever.
or
Like,
draw.
yeah. So if you are in a temporarily awful situation, maybe like identify it as temporary and everything will pass.
Everything
Diba?
will
There's different,
pass.
yeah.
Or sometimes that you feel that it is a very uncomfortable or bad situation because you are not enjoying again the process of it. I
Mhm.
If you're stuck in traffic, that's because your mind is somewhere else. But
Mhm.
if you're stuck in traffic and you actually truly enjoy just looking around and seeing what's out there, then you will enjoy being in
Yeah.
traffic.
This is a nice comment from Raymond Ong. Could not find something good to watch tonight on Netflix and internet. Good thing this came up. Thank you so much, Raymond. Kindly share this in your wall and share it with your friends. So, good things to watch. By the way, while I'm organizing here, what are you watching these days? Do you watch? Z?
Yeah, currently I am rewatching Breaking Bad.
Ah, yeah, I never watched that. Is it,
Oh,
will I
brilliantly
like it?
made.
Talaga?
Brilliantly made. More than if you like, it's brilliantly made. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm rewatching it. I do plan to watch Sandman.
Yeah, I never read the book, so I don't know if I'm in the mood for that. But there's so many interesting things. We just want. My sister said, "Go watch The Summer I Turned Pretty with the girls," and I did, and I was so shocked with the content. But what? I don't know if people will like that, but it's a cute movie. It's a cute series. It's on Amazon Prime. Which, by the
I've tried.
way, I just I was told by Globe that I had a free 6 month Amazon Prime, and then I signed up, and then they dropped me. Now I pay for it. Kakainis. I don't know. I have to contact my cell phone provider. But yeah. Um so now that we've just touched on watching and things like that. What are you doing for your own joy and happy moments other than
Oh,
your painting and your advocacy?
okay, then I will currently, because it's been very challenging. I think you mentioned earlier, when we opened up this live, that people, our children, our kids are all going back to school,
Mm,
and you know now they're people are going back to the office, so the house is empty again.
mm,
So this time, apart, because when the things that you enjoy doing, like the painting that I do, and when it starts becoming a job, or you're earning money from it, blah blah blah, it starts not being too enjoyable. When you're doing it, you get a lot of pressure to do it. So I
mm-hmm,
am starting to learn new things again. So again, you have to create, new things to allow your brain to push itself. And I think I will be needing your help, because I'm busting out that sewing machine.
ah,
I'm busting
yeah.
out that sewing machine, and I have no idea how to start it.
Okay. Yeah. So when people were getting, I think that the pandemic, the 2 year lockdown was quite good for people finding their inner creative, juices. Like people were, drawing and writing and doing these live, everyone was doing content creation and plantita and baking. I went through a moment of like I don't want to do I was that was my life before the pandemic. I was already doing all of those
Yeah.
hobbies. So I it's not new to me. I needed something new and I got into sewing. So I learned how to sew like 15 years ago, and even as a child, like back in my time, like we were taught how to sew in elementary school, and then I forgot. I never used it. But then I took a lesson, that I never used it. But during the pandemic, I took out my machine and I started creating. So while people were doing their beautiful art, I was just sewing masks. But I found the repetitive motion
Yan.
very meditative, and it took me to a level of relaxation. Yeah.
Yan. So again, what you mentioned that earlier, people were drawing, people were being plantitas, people
Mm-mm.
were sewing, people were baking during the pandemic, and that's because our body, our human body, is really designed to cope with stress. It will look for something. Our brain will look for something that will allow us to relax and not be too anxious.
Mm-mm.
And we go back to things like sowing and planting, and if you notice, these are all grounding exercises. It involves all our senses and pulls us away from all our stressors and everything that makes us sad,
Mm-mm.
because naturally our brain looks for something that makes us happy or joyful.
Mm-hmm.
Wala namang taong born na sad,
Oo.
'di ba?
Pero
So
ako talaga, na-enjoy ko
hinahanap
talaga
ng
yung
brain.
sewing. Up to
I
now, now
know.
that I'm out, I'm doing, I'm out, I'm doing these things and whatever, I still go back to my sewing corner and I'm still sewing. And Patrick is like, "Are you still sewing masks? Because no one wants them now. They're buying everything is so cheap now." You know what I mean? Like you can buy these disposable masks that are so beautiful. I said, "No, I'm not sewing masks anymore. I'm making like table runners and like
Oh my
placemats."
God, and you're gonna get a call from me, but Daph, what will I do with the bobbin? It's stuck.
Alam mo, everything is in YouTube. Nakakatuwa. At least you have a
Right?
machine. Buti na you have a machine.
Now.
I'll send you tela. You like tela. And then I got into like buying so much tela. Kasi ang cute ng mga patterns. Ayan, ang
Yeah.
dami pa rin nandyan.
Watch out. Costumes for my dogs. You see? This is the new face. Costumes for my dogs. Oh. So
Oh,
when
isa pa
people,
yan. Your
yeah.
dogs. Tell us about your dogs. How's that in terms of happiness and joy and your sewing?
Oh, they bring me so much joy. The thing with my dogs is that I started with two, and a lot of people during the pandemic can relate. I started with two, and then during the pandemic, oh, I think we need a new member of the family because we're all home and we're sad or we can't go out. So I got another one. So they created seven puppies.
You still have them? You all
No, no, I basically gave away. We have two. I was
you
said I
kept.
was gonna keep just. I was just going to keep one puppy, and unfortunately, the other one has Down syndrome,
Hmm.
so I had to keep the other one. So now I have two. But
Wait,
dogs can
two.
have Down syndrome.
What? Oh my
Yeah. So now,
gosh.
yeah. So now I have five. So people who follow me on Instagram basically just follow me for two things. It's either art or my dogs. Mostly my dogs. They have a
Wait,
lot of fans.
what happened to the one with the Down syndrome?
Still with me.
Aww.
Hmm. He
What?
looks
Which
very
one is?
different.
Oh, really? Can you send me a
Hmm.
picture later? What does that? Which one is that? The name?
Gummy, the one who's
Oh,
always like hugging me.
ay, ang sweet.
There,
Ang sweet
he's
ni
a
Easy.
happy, sweet dog, but not the smartest, but happy, sweet. He's
Aw.
different, really. He's really just a happy bundle of joy. He looks different from the rest.
Okay. So what brings you joy and happiness? For me, pag may dogs pa akong aalagaan, it's not gonna be a joy for me. It'll be a chore and I'll be like, what is happening? Yeah. Hindi ako
Oh, that's
masyadong
yeah.
mm-mm.
That's how it. That's why I keep on telling your kids, "What if I send your mom a puppy? She'll kill me."
Yeah. They know me.
I was like,
I
"Oh, I
can't.
wanna." I know. And then but with five dogs, it's very challenging. But with my
In a
daughter in college,
condo.
yeah. But they're tiny. But with my daughter in college now and my husband going out to work, they keep me company,
There you
and
go.
it's fun.
Empty nesting. People are
Yeah,
telling me that when I empty nest, I'll probably get a dog. Perhaps. We'll see.
very go Daphne costumes for dogs.
Oo, mag-start na tayo. Mag-sew na
That's the
tayo ng
next
mga
phase.
costumes. Okay, we have here from Caramel. Does spirituality contribute to being joyful?
Oh, yes, definitely. So when I'm talking about spirituality, I'm not talking about it being not a religious thing. All right. So when you talk about spirituality, a lot of it entails keeping silent,
Hmm.
right? Keeping silent, making sure that you believe in a higher power and listening to the word of God or the universe, etc., etc. But most of it entails a meditative state. And again, it gives you a lot of clarity and it gives you a lot of joy. Spirituality also dictates a lot of happiness in little things. And that's what we call joy as well, right? So it really does contribute to being joyful, being spiritual in many, many aspects. No? Spirituality also reminds you that things are temporary. Again, panandali ang aliw. Diba? Panandali ang aliw. So everything is temporary. Everything that you're going through is temporary, and everything is generally a journey that you're going through. Again, it is the process and not the product or the output of your life. Yeah,
Oh, I love
spirituality.
that. Ang
Mm.
galing. Yes. Yes, I second the motion. Oo, maganda
Oh.
yan. Oo. We have here from Cherry Monroy. Miss Daphne, the pandemic also allowed me to share to my kids what home economics course back in elementary taught us. Nainggit sila. Ayan. Yes,
Yeah,
because we're
why?
working with our hands, yeah?
Why did they don't have that anymore? Right now,
They
Cherry
learn how to
nainggit
sew. Oo, sa school natin nagso sila ng mga buttons and how to mend a few things. But no embroidery because I remember we did cross stitch and
yeah,
embroidery and yeah, like my our common friend Eliza, I introduced you to her. She started doing her,
I
you know,
know.
her
Beautiful
embroidery like
embroidery.
to an art form. Sobrang ganda.
Not
Now,
just that, in home ec, I think we were taught how to plant.
Yeah, and cook,
Mm-mm.
diba? And a little like I even yeah, I hope that they bring that back. Let's see. Because
Mm-mm.
the basic education is the big focus now of our government and the world, I think, because it's in
Mm-mm.
crisis. So hopefully they bring back those skills because it's so nice in this digital age to do analog things.
Yeah, yeah.
Ay,
But
nako.
but I think yeah, maingat rin sila because when the lockdown happened, I had a lot of people who were going through a lot of sadness and anxiety because they realized they didn't know how to cook,
Yeah,
and they were stuck at home and delivery was cut and they couldn't buy food outside and they didn't know how to cook. So
really. So
that
what
was
do
a
you say?
problem.
YouTube.
Yeah, they really started just YouTubing, but I think more than not knowing how to YouTube and follow it, it was the realization that they had no idea how to take care of themselves.
Ay, paano yan? So it's an awakening. Do you
It
tell
was
them
an
like,
awakening. Yeah.
yeah, it's not too late. I mean,
Mm-mm,
you can fix yourself and get on with it. Well, that's
mm-mm.
nice. Now, I've had you here for it's we're hitting our 1 hour, and I hope have you had dinner?
Ah,
Do you
yeah.
eat early? Oh,
Mm-mm,
good. Okay. Well, these are amazing tips that you shared, Z, and the story of your journey as an artist and as a wellness advocate. We didn't get to that point though. How did you
mm-mm.
go from corporate, being working in the corporate setting, to being an artist? That we did that, but how did you end up becoming a mental health advocate? Um, Giving all these very professional talks, like you have a menu of different talks and you're very much sought after by companies and organizations.
Oh, that's easy because I got sick and I had to
Mm-mm.
stop working. So I had to go through a lot of change because of the fact that I actually have I actually have epilepsy. So
Mm.
when you have epilepsy, it can be very difficult to work because you have seizures many times a day and you have seizures when you're highly stressed. So the doctor recommended that I stop working. And when you
Mm.
stop working and when you're highly focused at work and somebody says stop working, you automatically feel a level of depression.
Mm.
So when I went through that depressive state, I had no idea because I'm a perky person
Yeah.
and I had no idea what depression was. And I was like, okay, then most people probably don't know what it is. So I started learning and I started studying and I started really focusing on it. And I focus on the workplace because it is a very neglected um,
Mhm.
field. No, it's a very neglected place, especially when it comes to mental health and making sure that the employees are mentally healthy and bosses make sure that their employees are supported uh, properly.
Mm. And
Mm.
then one talk led to another.
One talk led to another, and I had to
Mm-mm.
study more and I had to learn more.
Wow.
Mm.
So, and I think there is a real value in talking. You're not the only one that I know that does this. But there is like value in people who have gone through it or are going through it, helping others. I would think
Yep.
it's also therapeutic for the one who had been diagnosed first
Mhm.
to help others, and then you're sharing your experiences and your learnings.
Yeah, it's easier for you and for me, basically, to really explain to them what's going on with their
Hmm.
body and how to help themselves. And it can be very challenging, especially in the Filipino setting, especially here in the Philippines. It's challenging to ask someone to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like a preliminary course. Okay, if you are comfortable talking to me and if you're comfortable with the things that we're doing, then you certainly will be comfortable with a doctor. And I work with a
Mm-mm.
lot of doctors as well. So I refer a lot of doctors, especially if it's a very difficult or challenging
Mm-hmm.
individual already. We really work together with doctors, or I work with their doctor.
I see. Wow. Question here from Farah Love. Is Miss Sarah offering one-on-one counseling sessions?
Hi, Farah. Yes, I do.
I
So you can get in touch with me on my um, Facebook page. So we can talk to about schedules and if I can help you or if I can refer you to someone who can help you.
This is the Wellness PH
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
Facebook and in Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah. And your private is it private?
No,
Personal
no.
Facebook. Oh, your personal Instagram is Zihihi, and you can see all her wonderful art there. Which a lot of them are. When are you gonna have your show? That is my dream for you. Is to have your. Have you had one already?
Yeah, but that was many, many, many years ago. But now my concern is where will how many artworks do I need to finish to have a show? It's just like I let
Like
go of them
20.
very fast.
Oo
Yeah.
nga eh, kasi masyadong in demand. Gawa ka ng 20, mag-show tayo. Sige.
Mm-mm.
Ano yun? Zarah Hernaez art. No, really, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be our new project aside from the dog costumes.
Yes, the sewing.
Mm-mm.
Anyways, Z, kulang ang 1 hour. Ang dami ka pang gustong itanong. But thank you so much for spending your Friday night with me.
Oh, you're welcome anytime, Daph.
And I'm so glad that I finally got you. Now, this broadcast will stay online in my Facebook page and in my YouTube. Again, you can get in touch with Miss Zarah Hernaez through her Instagram, Zihihi, and in the Wellness PH in her social medias. Did I
Yeah,
get
so
that
I'd
right?
like to say yes, but
Mhm.
before we end, I'd like to really thank you publicly. Thank you so much, Dav, because
Aw.
she's one of the very few, very, very few that you know really kept me alive during the pandemic because we're the only ones who basically can just chat about anything and everything, and you need people like that in your life. No?
You are
Mm.
a very wonderful force in my life that I am grateful for. And I celebrate you. I'm so happy that I can celebrate you and our friendship. So, and I'm so happy that you're doing what you love and that you
Yeah.
are helping so many people along the way. So, guys, please follow Miss Zara Hernaez. I'm
Yeah,
sharing her
maraming
with you.
salamat. Yeah, maraming salamat, Daph. Maraming salamat, everybody, for your time. I really appreciate it's a Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I will enjoy mine.
Yay! Thank you,
Yeah.
Z. See
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Bye. There you go, guys. That is Miss Zara Hernaez. Please, if you found this talk useful and helpful, please share it in your walls. And I really enjoyed showing her artwork and talking to her about her mental health advocacy. You can reach her. Here is her Instagram and her Zihihi, and her mental health and wellness advocacy is the Wellness PH, and you can contact her for if you have talks in your corporate, in your companies, in your organizations, in your group. You can contact her there. And again, I just want to share again my wonderful portrait that she made, a watercolor sketch of me. uh, I have yet to post this. I posted it in my stories, but not yet in my Instagram. I'm actually a very lazy Instagrammer, if you haven't noticed. But this is a beautiful, beautiful um, sketch painting of me and my husband. He's here having coffee, and she loves doing artwork of children as well. If you like that painterly style, it is quite precious. See? Doesn't look exactly but looks exactly, if you know what I mean. And that's what art is. That's why it's not a photograph, it's a painting. And I love how she works, uh, how she sees people and how she sees the world. So again, guys, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone in Facebook and in YouTube. Please like and subscribe in YouTube and follow in Facebook. And thank you to everyone who sent stars. Again, this is okay, Eleanor Monroy. Thank you for participating. Thank you, Miss Daphne and Miss Zara. More power to you both. And thank you, Farah Love, for that super sticker. What is that? I don't know what these things are in my YouTube and in my Facebook, but I'm very grateful. Thank you. Bago yata yun sa YouTube, ano? And Katrina says, great topic. Thank you. This is Japanese. Thank you for the stars. Maraming salamat. At magkita-kita ulit tayo next week. Oh, Andrew, Angeles, salamat din. Napaka ano nyo naman, supportive. I really appreciate it. And guys, let me know how are you liking this different set of lives that I'm doing. Um if you want more of it, let me know how to or what topics you want. At the same time, I also have still a promise from the real trilogy of Made in Malacanang, Daryl Yap. He promised to have another third live with me. But I know that they're very busy conquering the world. They're on their way to Dubai after Japan now. So mamaya na kami mag-uusap nun. But I would really like to do these conversations about creativity and improving yourselves and whatever it is that make people are passionate about and concerned about. So let me know. Make suggestions. Ito, bago tayo mag-goodbye, i-highlight natin si Lori. Always watching your content. Ganda talaga ni Mom Daphne. Naks, ang bait-bait ni Lori. Maraming salamat. Ito pa siya. Just wanna see your pretty face. Thank you, Lori. Ayan, ang babait talaga. So thank you to everyone who's following me here in Facebook and in YouTube. And most of all, thank you for having an open mind and an open heart. And enjoy your weekend, everyone. Enjoy your Friday. Bye.